Howdy there, folks. Coming at you with another Strat talk. Today, what we're going to be talking about is a small little nitpicky thing that certain players I think do incorrectly. In my experience, this is one of the more common mistakes I see people make in all skill brackets. I think this comes a lot from blindly following Korean meta. Normally, this wouldn't be a big deal as Koreans are generally known to know what they're doing, but I would say this is an issue they're being incredibly stubborn on. So what is this issue? It's mothership core placement. Most Koreans I've seen will leave their mothership core at home 99% of the time for photon overcharge drop defense. Now this is fine and dandy if you're also sitting in your base, as it allows you to defend without being too drawn out and too far out of position. But it's a different story when you move out on the map. I think it's absolutely incorrect to leave your mothership core patrolling your base once you've gone out in any committed sense on the map. This was an excusable option back before Photon Overcharge got nerfed and you had like 8 of them, because that was ridiculous, right? You Photon Overcharge like 6, 7, 8 pylons. There's nothing they can do. But now you only have 4 to use, and the balance sort of swings back the other way, right? This includes 1 medevac drops from Terrans, 2 Overlord like Roach or Ling drops from Zerg, minor warp-ins from Protoss. Basically anything that you could hold off with a Photon Overcharge, you could also hold off with a warp-in. And anything that you can't hold off with a warp-in, you probably can't hold off with Photon Overcharge either, because they'll just focus down the pylons, and then they'll focus down whatever else is in your base, be that tech structures, probes, Nexi, whatever. Like, it's just not optimal to leave your mothership core at home anymore, not for defense, I don't think. Some people say that the strength lies in using both overcharge and warp-ins together, and yeah, that's true to an extent, but I think that advantage is entirely negligible beside the advantage of complete and utter freedom on the map. There's so many things you can do with the safety of recall. You're allowed to take many more trades and poking fights without having to fully commit. This is especially important against lurker compositions, liberator compositions, compositions that have heavy tank evac counts, all that sort of stuff. It can also help you in a pinch in certain PvP fights, but it depends on what compositions you're going. And if you ever get doom dropped at home, you always have the means to get your whole army back quickly and efficiently to your main base. And this is super important because the Protoss army is traditionally known for being incredibly slow and bulky despite having a bunch of movement abilities. And because of that big bulk and slow moving giant mass of units, you generally have a very hard time defending certain things. So being able to defend Ling run-bys, massive Terran drops, all that sort of stuff without necessarily instantly losing the game or being forced into an uncomfortable position like a base trade, super, super choice. One of the really big things you can use it for almost every game, though, is that you can go in and you can basically just YOLO right on top of like a town hall structure, like a new 4th base, 5th base, that sort of thing. You can just focus it down, snipe it, and then recall out. You'll lose a handful of units, but generally if you have sentries to force field out the rest of the army or that sort of thing, you're able to get a town hall structure for free. You can even do this with like the 3rd base, or even the 4th base on Dusk Towers is kind of hard to take sometimes. But if you have a warp prism to draw them out of position first, and then you go in with the mothership core and the rest of your army, snipe a base, and then recall out, generally you'll be able to get a ton of damage done because their choices generally are to either take care of the drop and then move to go defend the base, or take everything and defend the base and then just kind of let the drop do whatever. Now, good players, once you start hitting high diamond masters, grandmasters, though there are still players that don't do this, they'll start to split their army properly. But even so, you're still getting damage done. And if they ever try and YOLO on top of you, guess what you've got? You've got a mothership core and you can just get out for free. Now, I'm not going to say this is the best option 100% of the time because I don't have enough experience. I'm not going to say I've played a billion games or whatever, and there's a bunch of different strategies out of there that could counter this. There's some risks to it, like your mothership core getting sniped, but I will say that in my opinion, it is better than leaving it at home the vast majority of the time. I recommend you guys try it out and see how it meshes with your style, or see how you can adapt your style to be more poke heavy or more aggressive to accommodate it, and then come back here and comment with your results. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time.